Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This time out, first look at a brand new product from Dangerous Music. Let's get started. At GearFest 2015, right here at Sweetwater, Dangerous Music unveiled a brand new product, the 2-Bus Plus, which is this unit I have sitting beside me right here. Now, the 2-Bus Plus is an improved version of the original 2-Bus. The original Dangerous Music 2-Bus defined the category of summing mixers, and it also had class-leading specifications. The 2-Bus Plus improves on the original 2-Bus with improved crosstalk rejection, better imaging, better noise specs, better distortion specs. It's a better sounding unit all around, even more transparent with even faster response. It features brand new op amps that Dangerous Music has sourced to provide the ultimate in audio quality. But beyond the super transparent audio quality of the 2-Bus Plus, Dangerous has also taken things even further. They've spent 2 years developing 3 different coloring options. There's a harmonic distortion option, a paralimiting option, and a transformer option. You can apply those colorations to the stereo output, or you can add them to stems 13-14 or stems 15-16 for processing individual signals. In addition, we have a switchable stereo loop that allows us to insert external processors, like the Dangerous compressor I have here, into the signal path in the 2-Bus Plus. We have a stepped output level trim control that allows us to adjust the output from -4 to +6, and we can also mono 4 of the input stems. Number 1 and 2 and number 9 and 10 can be monoed. Now, this is based on Dangerous doing research with users. They found that typically people were using 4 mono stems and the rest were stereo stems, so they've set up the 2-Bus Plus with that configuration. Let's take a quick tour of the back panel of the Dangerous 2-Bus Plus. First of all, you have input on either DB25 connectors, or you can use XLR inputs. We have XLR inputs and outputs for the stereo insert loop, and we have 2 pairs of outputs. There's a main output, which you would use to feed to your stereo mixdown recorder or your mastering chain, and there's also a monitor output that feeds your monitors. In this case, I'm coming out of the monitor outputs and feeding my Dangerous Source monitor controller. For my setup today, I'm running Studio One version 3 inside my MacBook Pro. Now, I've got EasyDrummer providing my drums, and I brought separate stems out from EasyDrummer, so it's feeding into the first 8 channels on the 2-Bus Plus. I've also got an Easy Keys track that's coming out in stereo into another pair of stems. I've got a bass stem that's coming into input number 9 on the 2-Bus Plus, and I've got a guitar output that's coming into 13 and 14. Our reverb is coming into 15 and 16. So I'm using all 16 outputs from the Apollo 16 to feed into the 16 inputs on the 2-Bus Plus, and then the 2-Bus Plus is providing my summing for me. We'll begin by playing back the session I have in Studio One without any coloration added. We'll just be hearing the pure signal of the 2-Bus Plus. So what we have there is a very clean representation of a sum of all the channels coming out of the Apollo 16. The 2-Bus Plus, just like the original 2-Bus, has tons of headroom. You can really slam the inputs hard and you'll still get a clean output from the summing bus. Now let's listen to some of the coloration options that the 2-Bus Plus provides. We'll begin with the Harmonics option. Now, this is a parallel process that adds additional second and third order harmonic distortion into the signal. You control the amount of that distortion using this control knob, and you can switch the effect in and out using the Harmonics button on the front panel. It's a subtle effect, but it certainly adds more life to the mix. Through my studio monitors, what I'm hearing there is a more lively signal. It sounds a little flat without the harmonic distortion added. When you blend that distortion back in, the signal really seems to come to life. Now, you might want to back that down a little bit. You can hear it fuzzing a little bit on the cymbals, so it may be a bit more extreme than you would do when you're normally doing a mix, but it certainly demonstrates the effect for you. Now let's move on to the paralimiter. What Dangerous has done is added an FET limiter inside the 2-Bus Plus, and when the signal comes in, it's being totally slammed by that limiter. Then using this knob, you can determine how much of that signal is being mixed in parallel with the dry signal. So we'll begin with the paralimiter turned off, and then I'll bring it in for you so you can hear the effect of that crushed signal being blended back in. So you can hear that as you push that control too far, you'll hear the cymbals, you hear the transients start to get crushed there because we're hearing more and more of that limited signal. But blended in carefully, I like it back here somewhere around the 10 o'clock position with this particular mix. It really fattens up the sound and gives it even more impact. And one nice option that Dangerous has provided on the 2-Bus Plus is the ability to swap the order of the harmonics and the paralimiter in the signal chain. So you can have it set up with harmonics and then paralimit, or you can hit the flip button and that reverses the order, giving you yet another coloration option. The third coloration option is X-Former. The 2-Bus Plus features a custom Cinemag transformer, and they've worked some magic that allows you to saturate the core of that transformer and then blend that signal back in with the original signal. Now this is a serial process, so everything is going through that transformer, and it really can add some beef and some nice thump on the bottom end. So I'll engage that and turn up the amount of saturation that we're getting out of the transformer, and you can hear the effects of that here as well. Just as with the other coloration options, you can certainly push the transformer saturation too far, but when you dial that in carefully, it can really give you a nice crunch, a nice punch to your signal, as well as fattening up that lower mid-range and giving you a more beefy sound. Our final option is we can insert an external processor. In this case, I've connected a Dangerous compressor into the insert loop, and we can bring that in and out using the switch here on the front panel. So whether you want to use something like the Dangerous compressor, a Dangerous Bax EQ, or some other EQ or other processor, you have easy access to it using that external loop. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Dangerous Music 2-Bus Plus compressor. I'm a big fan of the original 2-Bus, and the 2-Bus Plus is even better. With those coloration options, the ability to shade your mixes with exactly the tones that you want, it really is an ideal piece to add to your studio. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.